Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Saint R. Edwards. Welcome back to Swift Coding for Everyone. We're on to lesson 3.9 in the book, App Development with Swift, and we're going to talk about building workflows in your apps. All right, and so why this? So obviously, our apps are more than just the controls, the buttons, and other things that we put in our apps. And so when you think about putting together an app, you think about it, all of the small things, but then you want to think about it on a grander scale, and that's when all the workflow and the navigation controllers and things that you use come into play, and that's what we're going to talk about here in this lesson. All right, so I have the book open, but I'm not going to read it to you guys verbatim. You can do that on your own time, and well, this is your own time, but you know what I mean, outside of this video. So you can do that at a different time. But what I did want to go over is the few definitions that we have, which are the navigation hierarchy and the workflow. And these two definitions go hand in hand. So navigation hierarchy refers to the workflow that you use in your app, such as the flat navigation, which uses tab bar controllers. And we'll go over examples of what apps that come with iOS that uses the tab bar controllers. And then there is hierarchical navigation as well. And we will also go over that as well. So workflow refers to the navigation hierarchy that you use in your apps so users can access a feature or perform a certain task. All right. So like I said, those go hand in hand. And you can find out more information of all of these different definitions and everything on the iOS human interface guidelines. And so what I am going to do is I am going to pull open Google Chrome browser, and I'm just going to type in iOS human interface guidelines, and it's popping up. And the first thing that pops up is the themes, iOS human interface guidelines, and this is exactly what you want right here. So you can go over all this stuff. This is the stuff that's in the book, and actually on the page that we're on, it talks about the clarity, the deference, depth, aesthetic integrity, consistency, all of the different aspects you want to think about when you're completing an app. Apple has these guidelines here just as a standard for us as developers to try to uphold, so we can please our users, so the users will have a great user experience. All right, and so you guys can review all of that at a different time. I don't want to bore you with all these different definitions because that would just put you to sleep faster than what you're probably already going to sleep right now at this pace. All right, and so navigation hierarchy, what is it? So navigation hierarchy, as you can see, is basically gives the users one choice per screen until reaching a destination. Now you can find examples of this in the settings in the Mail app that we have in our iOS devices right now, such as our phones and our iPads or even your Macs, right? So as you can see on the screen, there is an example of the settings app. All right, navigation hierarchy, very quick. And here is an image of it, of how you would draw it out on this page right here. The navigation hierarchy, we got the little chart here. And so, that's very cool. And we will actually be using that in the next lesson where we're talking about going over the pizza delivery lab. All right. And so what is flat navigation? So flat navigation basically allows the users to switch between multiple content categories. So the music and the App Store use this approach. And as you can see, I have highlighted here, it says for flat navigation, you typically use a tab bar controller to organize information at the app level. A tab bar is a good way to provide access to several workflows or distinct modes of operation. All right. And then the last thing, but not least, the last thing is the content-driven or experience-driven navigation. And you find those in books and games where people can just flow freely through your apps. Okay. And so as you can see right now, I have a quick example of a book on the screen. And so that's an example of a content-driven app. All right. So an example workflow would be what you're seeing here now on your screen with the clock, the alarms, and actually the stopwatch. And so in our books here, it's just giving us an example of the different features that you would want it to have, such as toggling the alarms on and off, setting or creating a new alarm, modifying your current alarms, and even setting the sounds. And then when it comes to the stopwatch feature, you obviously want to be able to start the time, stop the time, and even, do the lap feature, which you can probably see as well on the example. Okay, and even some apps to make them larger and even more powerful to make a bigger impact with the audience. You can combine navigations like such as the navigation controllers and the tab bar controllers, and you can find that in the App Store app as well. All right, guys, so that is actually it for this lesson. Like I said, I wanted it to be quick and just different than what we are used to. So hopefully that was under like 5 or 6 minutes. And then in the next lesson, we are going to go over the lab. So make sure you guys review this, review the iOS human interface guidelines, and I will see you in the next lesson. Again, this is St. R. Edwards with Swift Coding for Everyone. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm very grateful. Y'all take care and happy coding.